is we have two particular features. So we have site annotations, and then we have the site change log as well. So the annotations is completely user control.
Push a button and they'll thousands of articles gonna get pushed out to your website via REST API, gonna get posted as well. With
It's going to be better if we actually remove these URLs and just redirect them to this URL, because there might be keyword cannibalization at play, or
the basics hasn't been changed at all. It's still the same.
Anyway, be using AI to do original research.
Yep.
It's not really built for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I think
what's that secret sauce? You have to consistently rank websites on a page 1 of Google.
We complain the next week when it's no longer working, when there's been a minor algorithm update.
Hey, welcome to the Agency Growth Lab show, and today we are thrilled to have Ryan Jones joining us from SEOtesting.com. Ryan is a marketing manager at SEO Testing and has quickly become one of the rising stars in the SEO industry. With his extensive knowledge in SEO since 2015, Ryan brings a wealth of knowledge and insights to our conversation. He's been making waves in the field, sharing his experience on various platforms and helping marketers understand the importance of SEO testing. So, without further ado, let's welcome Ryan Jones to the Agency Growth Lab. Welcome to the show, Ryan. It's great to have you here to have some great SEO talks today, man. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me on, Ryan. It's good to talk to you, and excited to chat about SEO.
Oh yeah, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always love to talk about the SEO with the like-minded community. It's always great. So Ryan, just in a quick minute or so, what's that secret sauce? You have to consistently rank websites on a page 1 of Google. What's that secret sauce behind that? What's that Ryan's method?
Maybe, I don't know whether this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't really think there is necessarily a secret sauce. I've built my career just by kind of doing the boring work, by writing the articles, making them good quality, building relationships with people to make sure that we can get good links and all that kind of stuff, making sure we've got a technically well-organized website and that it's technically sound, going through and doing the boring site crawls, even on those million URL e-commerce sites and all that kind of thing. So I don't necessarily think there's a kind of secret sauce that any one person company can follow to success, but I think a lot of companies have a good chance of getting success if they just do the easy things well.
Yeah, no, that's very true about it. I mean, I always think a lot of people, they do say that, hey, this thing has been, the Google algorithm has been hitting out and all that. I always say it's just the basics. Even with this AI leak, the one which recently happened, I did go through some of the pointers. I think the basics hasn't been changed at all. It's still the same. It's just like we as SEOs, we try to overcomplicate the things sometimes. I mean, we try to manipulate the things so much and we feel it like, hey, we have been crushing down. But the basics are still the same. That was been the same when I started back in 2012 and it's 2024. Everything has been the same. Just write good, valuable content and with a bunch of backlinks. Yeah. What were your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I like to always fall back on a saying that marketers can't have nice things because we ruin them for everybody, which I think maybe Matthew Barbie, who used to be VP of Organic at HubSpot, probably said. But I think we're all a little bit guilty at times of looking at the new trend and the new hack that's going to work for everybody, and just jumping on that. So it's like, oh, this kind of link has worked for us, so let's do it a million times, and then we complain the next week when it's no longer working, when there's been a minor algorithm update. But yeah, I fully agree with you. It just comes down to doing the things that we know have always worked. Just content, technical, links, making sure they're relevant, highly authoritative. It's all, I think, drilled down to it, it's all pretty boring, but it's exciting when you get the results, which that's my part of it, is I enjoy getting the results that I've been getting. So
yeah, no, that's very true about it. And let's take it this way. You said content. In the SEO world, there is always kind of, especially after this AI revolution, there's always kind of a debate about content quality and the quality quantity, because it's just like push a button and there like thousands of articles gonna get pushed out to your website by REST API, gonna get posted as well with the image, daily images and everything. So what's something, how do you go about strike the right balance behind that? That, hey, I don't need to go after whether it's a AI free content going on, but I don't need to push that many kind of an articles on my website. So there is some content frequency. Do you go about that as well?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of content frequency, I mean, just to give you a bit of kind of, I don't know, it's not really inside information, but what we've been doing at SEO testing is, I mean, I've been at SEO testing since April last year, so
Hmm.
just over a year now, and in that time, there's never been a week where we've published more than two articles. I think
All right.
yeah, when I first joined the team, we realized content was a growth channel that was working for us. We said, okay, let's focus a lot of time and energy on content. But even then, it was, yeah, two high quality posts a week, and now we're kind of settled on this. Yeah, we have a content cadence at the minute is one new post a week. Some weeks it'll vary because we're a small team, but and we all like taking annual leave every now and then, so there might be some weeks where no content gets published, some weeks where there are a couple of pieces published. But yeah, in terms of content cadence, and then when it comes to AI as well, I don't really sit on one bracket or the other. I'm certainly not against using AI for content generation. I use it when I write my articles if I can't figure out the right way to sort of word a sentence, or if I want to make a paragraph read better. And I know Nick, who runs SEO testing, when he goes through and edits our articles as well, he'll do the exact same thing. He's like, oh, this doesn't quite read right, so let me put it through AI and see if it can figure out a better way of saying it. But I wouldn't ever use it for mass content generation, just because I think one of the biggest things is you shouldn't really, at the minute anyway, be using AI to do original research.
Yep.
It's not really built for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And I
true.
think if you're using AI to just generate all the content you can, there's unless you've got a massive editing team,
Yep,
there's,
true.
there's no time for you to sit through each article, edit it, add in the right stats, fact
Yeah,
check everything. So I think it's worth it to find a balance. And AI is certainly a great tool for content writers and any business that's kind of publishing content.
mm,
But I would never use it just to go full force on
yeah,
mass publishing content and just going
yeah.
after thousands of
It's good to,
keywords.
yeah, yeah, it's good to get the factual data about the things, but if it's just say like just press the button, everything gonna be good. It's more kind of a publish and pray approach. We're going to publish and we're gonna pray that, hey, maybe this content gonna bring us like hundreds and thousands of traffic, which is not really going to happen. Take an example for the SEO testing one more time, please. You said like you guys were publishing like two contents pieces every single week at that time. What type of content was that? Was it about some case studies? Was it about like informational, educating the people about the product itself? What was that?
Yeah, a lot of it is kind of focused on either the top of the funnel or the middle of the funnel, and in that kind of area, especially in the sort of earlier stages when I first joined. We realized that there's obviously a lot of companies out there like Ahrefs, SEMrush, and all that kind of thing who do publish great informational pieces, and we want to kind of do similar things. One particular growth driver that we found is given that our SEO testing tool is Search Console based. We use GSC data to inform all of our customers and everything. So one of the big areas for us was creating, we call it the sort of GSC hub or the GSC glossary, and kind of having good informational content on all that there is to do with GSC. And we kind of want to be maybe just behind Google in that sort of thing. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to purely outrank Google on their own tool,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we want to be right up there. So if someone finds an error code, if it's like the 4XX error and that kind of thing when they're
yeah,
going through their crawl reports, we want to be able that we've got a good high quality piece of content that potential customers to go on and solve their problem first and
yeah,
foremost, because we're one of our core values is just teaching everything we know. We don't want to gatekeep anything. So if we know a way to solve a problem, we're going to tell customers and potential customers how to do that.
the
And
solution for.
then, yeah, exactly that. And then there's always the opportunity within our content to show easier ways to do it with SEO testing, that kind of thing. That's where the kind of middle of the funnel comes in. So within our content, we might say you can do this within SEO testing, but it may be going to take you like 2 hours to export it and filter all the spreadsheet.
Yep.
But we actually have a report within SEO testing that does it within 2 minutes and that kind of thing. And that's where the interest
Yeah.
comes in, and that people will sort
Because
of sign
I
up
do
for it.
I do remember we use SEO Crawl in our agency that do pretty much the same kind of thing as well, maybe different features. But I do remember SEOtesting.com because I was doing a case study together with the SEO Power Suite guys, and at that time to measure out the ROIs or maybe to measure out the kind of testing results, we were using SEOtesting.com at that time. So we published one of our content, like slap the content using the AI, and the another one was a proper tweak. Sorry, that was actually a proper tweak content for the surfer, and then the second piece was the content which was been published with the entities and everything via the SEO Power Suite website auditor. And then we were trying to see what kind of impression changes everything is coming in. So yeah, that is where we use SEO testing. So I guess a lot of people who doesn't know much about the SEO testing, as I know, it is kind of a tool where we can go, we can say for the testing we are doing, like putting up the different H1s or something, what kind of impression changes and everything is happening. But there could be a lot more. Maybe we can say it like, okay, before the Google algorithm, what was the impressions were, and after the Google algorithm, what the impressions are now. Is it really going good? Is that coming down? And that we can take the measurable results and we can make the necessary changes in the website. Could be content pruning, it could be content making a content better. Is that right, or did I miss something?
No, that's exactly right. Yeah, the kind of bread
Okay.
and butter. Yeah, the kind of bread and butter of our tool is testing. So we have
Yeah,
time-based testing and split testing,
time
which
is
they have
that's
all their
true.
kind of different use cases.
Yeah,
Um, we kind the way we like to think of it is we've kind of been doing SEO testing forever since SEO kind of became a thing in with the way that we do things. So
yeah,
if we want to do like we want to think of the way we were doing SEO before is okay, we have this page, it's ranking at let's say position 8 for
yep.
this particular keyword. We want to get it ranking, let's say position 1 or 2, obviously. We want to get it as high as possible. So we would change, like maybe do some internal linking work or change the meta title or change the content around. And then we
What
kind of like watch the clicks and impressions on that page and or just watch on a rank tracker and see what happens. So yeah, SEO testing is a tool that's going to give you tangible data to watch that, so you can say exactly what's been done and you can see exactly what's happened to that page in terms of clicks,
yeah.
impressions, click-through rate, average position, all that kind of thing. We do implement GA4 data as well. So if you have like custom reports and everything and custom events, you can track those as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's kind of the bread and butter of the tool. Yeah.
can be done. Yeah. So let's take a scenario where after taking all the data from the SEOtesting.com, and if we have to go, how do we go about taking the necessary decisions? Okay, like refreshing or updating the old content, we know like it's a significant driver in the SEO the success. So based on what criteria do you guys take a kind of a call, or you advise your customers, okay, this content has to get removed, has to get merged, or can be get better updated? Like how do you go about it with the help of SEO testing data?
I would always fall back on smaller scale tests. We don't really necessarily do a lot of like consulting work or anything along that. We're sort of primarily a testing tool, but if there is a scenario where you have a page and you want to obviously move the needle, it's maybe you've got a target query that you want to rank for and that kind of thing, or you want to just do the general SEO thing, and we want this page or this website, and we want to get impressions and clicks up, then it's probably best case to start with everyone's going to have a theory about it. All right. So you can take a particular piece of content and you say, okay, well, I think it's going to be better if we actually remove these URLs and just redirect them to this URL
To this
because it might be keyword cannibalization at play, or maybe we need to do a sort of larger scale content update and include some sort of query related stuff. But we can always start with a small scale test. You can take one piece of content, do the test, let the test sort of run its course, and you can say, okay, so we did a content refresh on this, for example, and we can see that we did this, this, and this. We added this piece of information, and clicks went up 20%.
Yeah.
And that's that kind of like a goal set. So
Yeah. Yeah.
then you can inform whether it's your client or a stakeholder if you're a sort of in-house SEO, and you can say, look, we did this, and here was the result. Now we would need this some additional time, some additional budget, whatever, and we can go
Check
and
for
do
it.
the
Yeah.
same thing to these pages, and we can hopefully replicate
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
No, it's see, for the people, I don't know how much they are in depth with the SEO testing kind of thing. We've been managing like 200 plus SEO projects right now with the different agencies. I can't tell you this kind of tool is actually a very time saver, to be honest. People maybe don't really understand the true potential of these kind of SEO testing.com, SEO crawl kind of tools, but these tools can actually save a lot of time if you are going in a proper right direction. And so it's a must-have kind of a tool, I would always say. I always tell my team leads as well that we have to go and check it out these tools every second week, like to understand what is actually happening for the changes we are making in a website. And then to prepare a kind of a log for those as well. I don't know if SEO testing do allow where we can actually add a kind of a notes to any particular timestamp as well, but it can be actually very helpful, I would say, or even a manual in the Google Sheet or something can be very useful as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, just in terms of just using SEO testing as an example, I know that there's obviously other testing tools out there, and I'm not well versed in what
Yep.
they do, but just in terms of SEO testing, what we do is we have two particular features. So we have site annotations,
Yep.
and then we have the
Right.
site change log as well. So
Yep.
the annotations is completely user controlled. So if you've done something to your site, or something has happened, or say you're running like a Black Friday sale or something like that, for example,
Yep.
you can go in and just note it as an annotation. And then what that's going to do is it's going to show up on your dashboard graphs. So you can say, okay, here's the line where the annotation is, and we can see that whatever we did here, that clicks went up or clicks went down. And then the change log is an automatic tool that within SEO testing that just tracks every SEO test that you log and every annotation that you add. So you can just keep a log of whatever's been done.
Yep. And all right, let's go a little more deeper with the content side, I would say, right? One of a common fancy term we use it, and that's as per Google as well, the EEAT. So, and you guys been in the testing world at the moment. What do you guys think about it? Do you find of any kind of like innovative ways to improve the EEAT factors in a local website, I would say, or even in the affiliate one? I would say local because I'm very much into the local, so I'll always be very keen to know more into that. So, what do you think about it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in terms of EAT itself, we don't think of it necessarily as a particular ranking factor, and that kind of thing. So there's maybe not necessarily anything that you can kind of do, which is going to sort of, I know there's a lot of articles and people on
Yep.
Twitter, X, and that kind of thing saying that you can improve EAT with this, and that kind of thing. I don't really subscribe to that kind of stuff. The way we like to think of it is EAT are the guidelines that the search quality raters will use if they're manually reviewing a site.
Yep.
And all it comes down to is just making sure that you're showing the right experience. Essentially, just doing, again, going back to doing the basics. But for particular pieces of content, especially content like more local based content or kind of like our content that we publish, we just want to make sure that we're adding in particular language that's we've done this, and that kind of thing. So I mean, just to use our site as an example, if we were writing an article on content updates, which we've done a couple of pieces on content updates in the past, it might just be as simple as adding a line in that says, well, this is the process that we have used at SEO testing, and here are the results that we've got by doing this, and that kind of thing. Just adding in a screenshot or something, because that then
Easy.
shows the experience that you've got.
Yep.
And then just one of the best tests that I like to run for content is adding in FAQ sections to
Yes.
to content that doesn't necessarily have FAQs. Because just there's always good stuff that you can do in terms of ranking for more queries and that kind of thing. But also it just shows that you have the relevant sort of authoritativeness to answer the question. You've got the expertise there, you've got the experience as well, which is the new one.
Yep.
So yeah, just adding in, if you've got a piece of content that you might want to move the needle for, one of the sort of easiest and quickest tests that you can run is just adding in a few FAQs,
Yep.
and then just seeing what happens.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I think all this stuff can actually help to build out those strong EAT factors, which is the experience, expertise kind of things. And Google bot, when they're coming to actually crawl the things, I think they take all these kind of things as a legitimate factors to help them rank better in SOAPs. No, that's true. Well, definitely, it's more about like trying them and check it out in SEO testing or some similar tools to figure out is that really worked or not. Yeah. SaaS is something because I know like you said you just mentioned before like you have worked on the content strategy for SEOtesting.com that actually paid off really well in the form of like extra traffic coming to the website. So yeah, let's talk about that one because I've seen personally myself like e-commerce content strategy for the e-commerce are most hardest one, and that's the same with the SaaS as well because there's so much features involved, so much even with e-commerce there's so much, I mean, like different kind of products are involved. So let's talk about SaaS specifically. So what is the kind of an approach you are taking to prepare a content strategy that's effectively addresses like every stage of the customer journey? Because remember, like you said, there is a mid of the funnel, top of the funnel kind of thing. So it is actually important that for which particular customer journey we're preparing them for taking them to the top of the funnel, which is like a 3%. How do you go about that?
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of building out a content strategy for SaaS and that kind of thing, I would still say maybe I'm quite new to the sort of game. I mean, SEO testing is the first SaaS tool
Yep.
I've worked on.
Yeah,
But
but you proved
I mean,
well.
I can quite confidently say that the results are going all right so far. So yeah, I think I'm doing a pretty good job.
Yeah,
But yeah, when it comes to building out a content strategy, there's obviously there's different ways you can go about it. There's the kind of typical SEO way, which is still very useful, which would be your sort of typical keyword research, which obviously we all know the tools that are available for that. You
yep,
use Google itself to inform questions or Ahrefs, SEMrush, all that kind of thing,
yep,
and building out sort of a content strategy based on those keywords that are relevant. Another way of doing it as well is once you've done this keyword research, is to run it through tools like Keyword Insights, which is a clustering tool,
yep,
which is just going to save you time and money because it will tell you what keywords can be targeted with the same piece of content and that kind of thing. But I think the one area where a lot of businesses and marketers might ignore is actually talking to customers,
mhm.
because that's
Exactly.
one of the biggest things that that's informed our content strategy for the past year and even further beyond that is actually talking to customers and potential customers
Real-time
as well.
feedback. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly that. And I think we're at a bit of an advantage because we don't necessarily have a sales team. So all of the sort of questions that we get, it's either myself or it's Nick or Tiago who
yep,
does our videos and works on support. We're answering those kind of questions on a daily basis. And we know that if we get a particular question a lot, then okay, maybe it's going to be useful to write a piece of content about this, and that kind of thing. And I think that's the thing that marketers will miss, especially if they are kind of separate from the sales team.
yep,
I was at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and a guy called Andy Jarvis was speaking, a great speaker. And it's an e-commerce example, but he was at a conference for e-commerce marketers doing the keynote, and he asked just the room how many people in that room had talked to a customer physically or over the phone or whatever in the past 6 months, and the answer he came up with was about 4% of marketers had talked to a customer in the last 6 months.
yeah.
So,
That's
so
repeated trust.
yeah,
Yeah,
just by doing that, you're going to be better than
yeah,
or well, better than 96% or whatever it is of other marketers if you just start speaking to customers. So yeah, that's the biggest thing that's informed our content strategy is
yeah.
first talk to customers, then you can then go on to more traditional keyword research and that kind of thing, and you can build your content strategy around that.
Yeah, no, that's very solid point because I guess a lot of the SaaS companies they actually miss that because they try to focus too much on the features or else they just keep on pumping the content without even taking a real-time feedback from the people if they're really be for them because they're just busy in writing the knowledge bases or something for their features itself. I'm talking about the SaaS companies, but the same concepts can be used for the service businesses as well because for the service business, it is something like, for example, we are in a service business. We are going back and we're asking them, hey, how did you go about it? Is that really we worked for you? What we did? Is there any kind of feedback do you have? And then if there is a common kind of a feedback, I guess it is important that we can go and create some educational videos or maybe some kind of like a blog post or something for that as well. It's just the omnipresence, I guess, which can happen this way, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think it's an approach that will work for most businesses who have online presence, whether it's SaaS, whether it's service-based business, whether it's e-commerce as well. E-commerce is maybe kind of like the outlier when it comes
Yep.
to that. I can speak on it a little bit because prior to SEO testing, I did work for an e-commerce brand.
Yep.
Um, I do think e-commerce is the outlier, but I still think great strides can be made with more traditional kind of content-based work
Yep.
and speaking to customers. I think the
Yeah. Yeah.
issue the issue with working on e-commerce specifically is they're always naturally going to be focused on kind of almost always the bottom line, and they don't necessarily want to take clicks into account. They just want to see the sales go up and the revenue go up and the profit go up.
That's all
Whereas
they
I think
want.
yeah, whereas I think local bit like service-based businesses and SaaS businesses, especially for us as a marketing tool, we have different KPIs, but we take clicks into account as well as we take leads and profit into account as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it will work across all kind of service types businesses. The key is just to speak to your customers and actually answer customer questions, and that's the biggest thing. Don't just take 1,000 keywords from a keyword tool and start writing content without and just slapping it at the wall and seeing what sticks. So
Yeah.
actually, yeah, you can organize a lot by speaking to your customers, finding out what the most important questions are, answering those first, and then once that's done, and you can then start focusing on more traditional stuff as
Yeah.
well.
That's true. And yeah, let's talk about the AI one. I guess this probably gonna be the last question I need to ask you, but because they might gonna be a little longer. That AI is transforming SEO in many incredible ways, you know that. So how are you actually leveraging AI in your SEO strategy? And there is a particular reason why I'm asking you this question is because beginning the guys inside the SEOtesting.com, maybe you guys get a lot of data points because a lot of people been hooked up their websites and somewhere or another you might guys can get some kind of like a data points as a common factors that hey maybe this has been happened because of this Google algorithm, maybe this could be the root cause for that. So my question is the same like that how are you leveraging AI in your day-to-day SEO strategies as well?
So in terms of day-to-day stuff, we're not necessarily doing maybe as much as other people with AI. We very, or at least myself, we kind of very much use it as a tool to optimize things, make things more
Mhm.
efficient, and take the kind of long monotonous tasks, and AI can do that bit for us.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
certainly not against using AI by any stretch of the imagination. Nick had a good example that he shared on his social media a few weeks ago
Yep.
that we
Yep.
wanted to just find where people were spending the most time on the app. So you can import the um, service logs into AI and ask it to analyze it for you, which is great because it's going to save you so much time. And AI can just go through that raw data and give you some outputs or like almost instantly, which is obviously good.
Yep.
But yeah, in terms of the way we're using AI, there's obviously tools that we have that are like that they use AI as well. We use AI to kind of do different bits with content writing, not necessarily write whole articles for us, but to improve content and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Uh, we have a chat GPT integration in SEO testing as well, where people can use it to write meta descriptions and that kind of thing. But yeah, in terms of how we're using it, maybe we're not using it as much as other people,
Yep.
but
Like
we
writing the full article with that, just polished up with Grammarly or something, and just put that content straight away on the website.
yeah,
You,
we're certainly not doing anything like that now.
no, I can imagine that. All right. Now, just a very final question for today, sir. That what kind of advice would you like to give it to someone who's just starting out as an SEO and want to build a successful online business?
Yeah, I mean the first thing I can certainly say is do like going back to what I said at the very start is do the boring stuff well, because that's always going to be everyone
Yeah.
will always talk about different bits that are going to move the needle in whatever shape, way, or form, whether it is whatever new thing is going to be happening in 2 weeks is good with it. because we've
Just
kind of stopped. I mean, to use an example, we've stopped talking about the leak already, and we're kind of moving on to the next thing. And it's like, oh, Google's dropped continuous scrolling from the
yeah,
SERPs, and in another week we'll be talking about another thing, and in another week after that we'll be talking about this new thing. So yeah, just focus on the basics, focus on putting the right content out, focus on building the right links, focus on making sure your website is well optimized from a technical standpoint, and you can't necessarily go wrong from that. And then the
yeah,
next thing I would say, in terms of sort of like areas of importance, is talk to your customers as well.
yeah,
Whether it's that's for any newer SEO, whether they're working with like in-house, whether they're working agency side, or if they're just starting out, going out freelance as well. Actually talking, getting clients to talk to the sales team and finding out what questions customer are asking, what the pain points are as well, to getting signups and buyers and things like that.
yeah,
Talk to customers. And another thing as well, which we've been leveraging out as well, is there's always going to be people in SEO who are willing to help others. And that's the biggest thing. So maybe build out a kind of mentorship network and that kind of thing. Or I mean, we have a bit of a ridiculous name for it, SEO testing, but each one of us, we call it a Sparkle crew, who are
yeah.
kind of like trusted SEOs that we can go to with questions and that kind of thing. But yeah, building out a network of people that are always going to help, because at the end of the day, SEO is big enough for everyone. And
Yeah, it's the same thing. That's what I always talk to the masterminds. I always go with is like rather than just thinking about, hey, I should not tell my secrets to him or that. It's a big world, lots of clients. So just focus around the clients rather than just struggling to get the information here or there. So
yeah,
now that's very true about that.
we can talk about AI and AI overviews until kingdom come, but at the end of the day, SEO is still going to be there in 20 years' time. It's still going to be needed, and
Yes,
businesses are always going to need SEO professionals to help them. So
true.
yeah,
Yeah,
SEO is big.
like,
SEO is big for everyone, and yeah, and it goes back to what we do. Like, we're certainly not against sharing secrets and that kind of thing. We just share what works for us, and hope it helps other people as well. Again, one of our core values is not to gatekeep and just share everything we know. So we're going to continue doing that anyway.
oh no, that's true, man. That's very true about it. Now, thanks for that, yeah, Ryan. And anyone who really wants to know more about you, want to touch base with you, what's the best place for that? Is that LinkedIn? Is that yeah, Facebook or email or what is that?
Yeah. So you can catch me. I'm probably most active on X, seeing x.com
Okay.
forward
Yep.
slash Ryan Jones SEO. You
Okay.
can get me on LinkedIn as well. And yeah, you can find my emails on the SEO testing website, so you can find me and email me there as well.
Yep, no worries. I'll put it on all those emails and everything in the video description as well. No,
Great.
thanks for that, man. I really appreciate the time and everything you have given us, man. A lot of information, a lot of testing data you guys be having, I know. So yeah, it's always a pleasure to talk with some serious SEO guys like yourself, man. There's definitely something new, or the experience everyone has got. So it's all about give and take. Now, thanks for
Yeah.
that. And yeah, you just take care of yourself, enjoy the weather, and yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's
Thank you for having me.
bye bye.
Cheers.